issue of state honors for the late President Ferdinand Marcos continues to hover over the Aquino administration, even after President Noynoy Aquino himself ruled out funeral honors for the late dictator. Teddy Locsin Jr. shares with us his thoughts on how Malacanang is handling the issue in tonight's Teditorial.
Thank you. Malacanang just won't leave well enough alone. It had to answer the young Marcos on the issue of his father's state honors as a former president. Why not let the Marcoses speak their piece? Malacanang has said enough that it is still wiping off its face. Now Malacanang says that before the funeral honors requested by his children, the father must first say he is sorry. Sorry for what? Declaring martial law? But that was constitutional according to the Supreme Court. Canceling democracy? That was done to effect reforms that the landlord-dominated Congress kept blocking, such as agrarian reform. Canceling the elections? Noynoy just did that, to effect political reforms in arm. Changing the Constitution? We were about to do it with an elected convention of delegates for sale, whose only independent initiative was the unconstitutional proposal to disqualify the wife of the sitting president from seeking election for his place, an inalienable right that no constitution can deny. Getting an authoritarian constitution passed around with fried chicken and pancit, well, we still do that in every election. Rigging elections? Marcos never did that. He won the presidency 2 times fair and square and by landslides. Under martial law, he never paid for a vote that he could get by fear. Stealing in public office? Police. Post-EDSA presidents make him an amateur by comparison. Pray then, for what must Marcos apologize? The many extrajudicial murders during martial law? But there have been many more murders since. And pray tell, how shall a dead man apologize? Death erases crime, which hasn't even been proved in this case. The Supreme Court validated everything he did, and the people ratified all his acts repeatedly, including the assassination of Ninoy Aquino, by returning 2/3 of the batasan to Marcos. And finally, do we now visit the sins of the father on the children and smear the blood on his hands on their faces? They are Ilocanos, not Jews. By what principle of law or notion of decency do we demand an apology from a dead man we dared not call to account when he lived? And finally, are we demanding the unnatural act of having children denounce their father to assuage their grief? What is this, a Greek tragedy? And what are we, communists? If we cannot have intelligence in government, let us at least have good taste. Back to you.